connect with like-minded AHK users in our private chat, helping each other out and sparking ideas that make scripting way more fun. Witness how club members crush real AHK projects. It's eye-opening proof that our community sparks creativity and success. Say, hey, after 30 minutes, go and exit, because that's a far enough cushion for what I'm doing where I'm like, yeah, I'm done with it clearly by then.
A
Right?
timeout for your script that after X amount of time, you
Yeah.
just, and that one
Yeah.
is very simple to set up. If
Yeah.
you ever want to do that, just set a timer, just set timer.
Yeah.
The function that you're calling is ExitApp, comma, and then you multiply your time.
Yeah. Show it here in a minute just for fun, right? Because it's good. Like you said, it's really simple.
Let me do it on your computer so you don't have to stop here.
Okay.
So if you have any script that you want to exit out of,
Zoom in a hair, please.
Yeah, sure.
There we go.
Oops, that's not a hair.
That's yeah.
Okay. So basically you could go ahead and say set timer. You could probably call the exit app function directly like that, but that is actually a class or a very specific function. So I would definitely call it with a fat arrow like this, just to make sure that I don't do something weird. It would work. I know that it works, but now this is the tricky part. And I usually do this. I just think from left to right. I say, I want to close in 30 minutes. So 30 divided by 60, which is the minutes. Multiply. And then I do multiplication by 1,000, which is, oh, I want it to be in 2 hours. Then I think 2 times 60, which is hours. But now I have to convert that to minutes. So times 60 for minutes times 1,000 for the millisecond. So if you think that way, it makes it a little bit easy to come up with those numbers. So let's say 30 times 60 times 1,000, that's in minutes. That's it. You just added a timer that, and actually, well, I don't need to make it negative as we usually do, because this is not a thing that is going to happen over and over because you're exiting the script. So it's a very simple thing that you can do.
See, and that, by the way, that one line right there, which I said, let's add a comment. That would be a great little snippet to have in ASM somewhere of a little handy thing, right? Of hey, set a fuse is what I think is it Outlook somewhere? There's something they call that a fuse, if I remember correctly, of it'll kill itself after X time. But I love it.
Yeah. Usually what you would like to do is have it as a variable name so that people know what you mean by that or a comment.
Wait, Isaias, to your point, we need to create like a header file that has some of these things defined, right? Like 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, right? And then we're like,
if you have like some presets, something like that, right? Yeah. You could calculate those, have a what I did, I remember when I was learning AutoHotkey, I had something called minute, right? I had second, minute, and hour. And then I would say second is what? 1 times 1,000. Then minute would be second times a 60. And hour would be minute times 60. And now later in my script, I would go ahead and say set timer, exit app for 30 times minutes, right? So it would, or it would be readable like that. But you're noticing that there is a red thing here. Well, that is because in V2, that is a function and you cannot replace that function name. So I couldn't use it anymore. So I stopped doing this, but you could definitely name it something else like seconds, right? Seconds.
Minute.
And then I would say minutes in this case, which I would then have to say minutes and then hours. And now I would say, and that is still readable, which is the thing, right? So now you can have these 3 variables defined somewhere that you can include with all your scripts, right? And now you just include that, the definition, and whenever you want to do something with the timer, you just say 30 minutes. And it's very simple to read, by the way, without you having to now add a comment. because one of the things that I have mentioned before is comments shouldn't say what the code is doing. You should write the code in a way that you can see what it's doing. Comments should be about why you did it that way. Why did you do this instead of that? Why did you put a timer instead of a loop? Oh, because in this case, the timer allows me to so whenever you have a very strange piece of code, the comment should explain why is that code strange. Oh, this code is to fix a very weird bug that we have in whatever place, right? But having a comment here that says 30 minutes is redundant. Well, I can see that it's 30 minutes, right? So the idea, usually what people tend to consider good code is that your code should be written in a way that whoever comes in and looks at it knows what the code is doing without having to read comments. And you would say, why? Well, because comments can get outdated. So I can create a comment that says that the code does this. Well, say, for example, I just said 30 minutes here. And then later on, somebody comes in and I say, 30 minutes is too much. I'm going to make it 5 minutes. Now my comment and my code are not the same. Like they're not matching.
The irony is in programming, that's why you create a variable, because you want to set it once somewhere and have a reference and just, not have to worry about that. But that's, that you're breaking that.
The problem comes when people then come with a variable called Z, right? And now you're like, what does that mean? Like, what is that? Then they do what I'm just suggesting. They do 30. They put these guys here because they just don't want to type too many things. So they just start with this. And then they are forced to add a comment because they wrote code that is not readable. And then they put a comment to describe what it does. This is not good. If you find yourself writing a comment to describe exactly what I can read, this is wrong. Well, people consider it wrong.
Preferred.
You can do it however you want, right? You can do it however you want. But 6 months from now, you're not going to know. And here comes the problem. Now, this and that make no sense, right? And you would say, yeah, but I would update it. No, you won't, especially when you have 10,000 lines of code. Somebody told you that you have to fix a bug really quickly. You fix the bug with some weird variable names. And then later on, you just forget about it. And you forgot that there's a comment 10 lines somewhere else that describe that this was supposed to be minutes instead of that. Don't fall for that. That actually will, I know it's going to be a headache. Just name your variables something readable. And I know that Nick said, I don't like them long variable names. I understand that. It just makes your time, it saves you time, not only now, 6 months from now, it saves you time from fixing your code. And also, we are at a time that it doesn't matter how long your variable is. Seconds.
Just to be sure, Isaias, long is for me about 20 characters.
Okay, but here's the thing. Look at this variable name. It's very descriptive. But I don't like that name. I will tell you, if you type sec and you hit tab, you don't have to write it. So now with editors auto-completing for you, it doesn't matter how long your name is. Oh, but the length of the screen. Dude, you have a 4K monitor that you can write as much as you care. Doesn't really matter. These things matter. The computers.
But even in the case of what was Irfan showing before, if you see seconds in million seconds, when you see only this first part, seconds in, then you know already enough. So the rest is not important. So it's not important to make it wide.
I think though, again, because here's a perfect example. Here's two perfect examples. Maestricht wrote AHK Studio, right? And at the time he wrote it, he was writing crazy, insanely dense code. And it's so hard for someone else that didn't write it, even for himself, because I've talked to him many times. He will go and rewrite it because he can't decipher what he did, right?
Yes.
And then Jackie, the guy I used to do the podcast with and stuff, he writes crazy long stuff. We took over a project for him, and Isaiah picked it up like that because
5 minutes.
it was so easy to read. Yeah.
It was so easy.
I can tell you, I have once, when I was a COBOL programmer, then I had to maintain a COBOL program that was written by a guy who loves flowers. So every variable name and function name was a flower name.
I think you told us this before.
But,
yeah.
But it was not only a flower name, it was a Latin flower name.
Yeah.
So
just imagine. So those kind of things, again, just make sure, I do want you to understand, this is just preferential, right?
Well,
but the reason why we have certain preferences is because we have gone through the route of looking at some code that nobody can decipher, even the person who wrote it. And we said, I don't want to have that problem again. I spent 3 hours trying to fix something, and in the end, I threw my hands up and said, let's rewrite it instead of fixing it. So if you find yourself doing that, then, hey, it might be a better idea just having a long variable name that is descriptive. Oh, not long, it doesn't have to be long. It just has to be something that when anybody reads it, or most people read it, they would at least have a clue of what is going on, instead of you relying on comments. Comments are basically, I would always, whenever I'm about to write a comment, I do two types of comments. It's either the steps that I'm going to take to do something. So I write, I'm going to do this, and that, and then I write the code. And the other type of comment is, why the hell did I do this weird thing here? So that you don't come in and delete it. Because when I go ahead and look at it, you might look at it and say, what is this crazy thing? And delete it. And I'm like, don't delete it, because if you delete this in another place, this is what is going to happen. So please don't touch this line. That's basically the two types of comments that I usually create, you know, not describing what it's doing, because I should be able to see the code and say, oh, that's what it's doing. See what I mean?
You're wrong on that one, Isaiah. There is a third type.
Okay.
It's when you're doing it so somebody else, like let's say me, I'll pick on me. You want to tell me, hey Joe, set your variable here, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
But it's when the person that's actually looking at it doesn't necessarily understand the stuff. Like you'll do it for me. I'm like, oh, all right, that's where I go. Okay, yeah. But yeah, I get your point when you're programming here.
Yeah.
But I love that idea though. Still, of this is again one of those things. Why have we never discussed this simple approach to having an auto timeout on a script?
Closing stuff. We have never actually talked about that. It's true.
Yeah, but it's something that makes, to me, a crap load of sense of like, yeah, I know after 3 minutes or 5 minutes, just have it exit out. Like, duh, yeah. I could go add this to quite a few of my things that I know they're ephemeral. Is that what I'm thinking of? It's something that is just, I know I'm going to use it for a couple minutes and then I'm done with it and I don't want to have to think about exiting out of it. Anyway, I love it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Members enjoy a sweet 25% discount on everything we offer, from in-depth courses to ready-made scripts and pro services. Explore our huge library of 466 plus hours of recorded AHK tutorials. Watch, rewind, and master tricks at your own pace.